Hello and welcome back to the channel. At this point, we have a lot of Mandalorian or Din Djarin figures, but as you guys probably know, we are now getting a new version. It's not just that Hasbro made a completely retooled Mando, but we are also getting a new version from the SH Figure Arts and Mafex line. In this video, I wanted to do the same thing that I did with my video about new Darth Vader from Kenobi series and which one to get, Black series or the SHF one. I'll leave a link for that video in the description if you guys want to check it out. So this time I'll be comparing 3 Mando figures from 3 different companies and maybe help you guys with your decision on which one could be the best one to get. If you could get only one, which one would be the ultimate, the definitive Mando for your shelf? I do own previous Mando figures from all 3 of these companies and I do have experience of posing them. All of those reviews and posing videos are on the channel and I'll leave links for them in the description as well. But this will obviously be my point of view and you don't have to agree with me. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments though. That being said, let's get into the comparison. The price. First, we have to talk about the price. Black Series Mando will cost $25 US or 30 euros. SHF one cost around $70 US on AmiAmi's online store, and the Mafex one cost around $65 US also on AmiAmi's store. We have to take into consideration that if you live outside of Japan, you'll have to pay not just the shipping cost, but import charges as well, and those vary from country to country. On the other hand, Black Series are probably more available worldwide, especially now after Hasbro Pulse expansion. So in terms of price and availability, Black Series wins this battle. But we have a lot more to talk about here, so let's move forward. Figure overview. Next, let's take a look at the figures. All 3 of them look really good in terms of proportions and the silhouette. They all have the exact same Season 2 and Season 3 design. The same armor, a Mudhorn insignia, torn cape, everything is here. But based on these promo shots, we can see that the colors are a bit different. Mafex looks a bit more vibrant than the other 2, especially his orange glove fingers. Other 2 are more toned down. SHF looks like it has the most weathering, while Black Series looks kind of plain. The shininess of the armor is also different on all 3 figures. Black Series looks almost white, and that's hopefully because of the reflective surface. If not, then it seems that they used a very light tone of silver. On the other hand, SHF looks darker, while Mafex looks like it fits in the middle. Hasbro retooled the body for their new Mando, but AmiAmi's listing for Mafex also says helmet, armor, etc. reproduced in new modeling. So hopefully they made the body even better. SHF Mando looks the same as the previous release, and I'm not sure if they said that they changed anything on the new one. Ultimately, if I would have to say which one looks the best, I would say Mafex. The proportions look right and natural, joints are well hidden, the sculpt overall looks sharp, there is enough weathering on the body, the helmet looks the best and sits perfectly on the neck. If you want the best looking 6-inch Mando in terms of aesthetics, I would say that Mafex is a clear winner. Fixed issues. But before we continue our comparison, let's remind ourselves on some of the frustrating problems that previous Mandos from all 3 companies had. Let's start with the SH Figure Arts. The main issue on their previous releases were in the proportions of the helmet. It's not just that it looks too small in comparison to the rest of the body, but it also sits too low on the neck. When you add the cape to the mix, the figure looks like it has no neck, and so you get the impression that the head is sinking in the shoulders. The cape on the SHF version was not wired, and that is strange for a company that, for the most part, likes to wire soft goods on their figures. There is also a frustration with the way that they want you to attach the rifle on Mando's back. It feels a bit over-engineered, and I've heard a lot of people complaining about that. Lastly, I feel like the ankle joints could be better. They could have a bit more range, because the previous ones were kind of limited, and I would argue that the ankle joints should be the most important joints for dynamic posing. Now, did they fix these issues on the upcoming release? It's difficult to say based on just promo shots, but at least we can be certain that they fixed one thing, and that is the cape. This time it's a wired cape and they show it on this image here. You do get his rifle again, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to storage it to his back. There is that peg hole on the belt that is the same as on the previous release, but I'm not sure if they will give us the same small pieces to make the connection. It's difficult to say if the helmet proportion is better this time. From what we see, I'm afraid that they didn't fix that issue. Same goes for the ankle articulation. None of the promo images show Mando in a wider stance, but I feel like this is the same body as the previous Season 2 Mando with few small decorative changes. Let's move over to Mafex. Their previous release also had some issues. First, the pistol blaster is pink for some reason. I really don't know what happened there. Was that some kind of chemical reaction of the paint on the plastic that they use? It's hard to tell, but it was a huge miss for Mafex. Then, the cape had only a small piece of wire in it, and it stops just shortly behind his shoulders, so you really can't do much with it. I really struggle to see the reason behind this decision. But the absolutely worst problem with previous Mafex Mando is the way that they designed the attachment of the rifle to his back. If SHF over-engineered it, I don't know what to say about what Mafex did. This is something else. It's one of the worst accessory attachment designs that I ever saw on any action figure that I have, and I have a lot of them. I can't even describe the level of frustration that I went through when I was trying to pose him with the rifle on his back for my posing video. I had to go through the whole overcomplicated process of attaching the rifle, and then I had to hold my breath for it not to fall off while the figure was spinning on the rotating base. The level of frustration was extremely high, that's all I'm gonna say. Did they fix these issues on the new release? I sure hope so, because this promo shot shows him with the rifle on his back. The cape is different, and there is also a hole in the cape for the rifle, so that kind of gives me hope that they redesigned the connection. It's hard to say if they fixed the other two problems, but from this shot it looks like the pistol is not pink, so that's good. It remains to be seen if the cape is fully wired this time or if it's not wired at all. And finally, let's take a look at the issues of previous Black Series Mando releases. First, the helmet shape was way off. It's wide at the top and then it kind of curves or shrinks at the bottom on both sides. It looks awful and inaccurate. Next huge issue was the plastic cape. For some unknown reason, Hasbro decided to give us a jetpack that should be attached to Mando's back and a plastic cape that you can't manipulate at all. It's always in the way and you can't have the jetpack and the cape on the figure at the same time. That is a bad design. We were forced to make our own soft goods cape or buy a custom one. Even if you are a fan of plastic ropes and capes on these figures, you have to admit that in this case it just did not work. Another thing, and this is not a big of a problem as the previous two, is the way that they want you to connect the rifle to his back. There is a hole on the strap that goes over his shoulder and there is a peg hole on his back. Rifle has a longer peg on it and you should align the two holes and peg the rifle through them. It wasn't as secure of connection as you would want and the rifle would fall off easily. So all three companies struggled to find a good and effective design solution for the rifle connection, and I would say that Hasbro probably did it best. It's not good, but it's the least frustrating design. Now, did Hasbro fix these issues on their new Mando figure? I would say yes, for the most part. They retooled the body, they made a new helmet that looks much better now, and they made the soft goods cape so that now you'll be able to put a jetpack on his back and move the cape to the side. I would say that the rifle issue doesn't exist here, and that is because this new release doesn't come with a rifle. It looks like his belt and the strap are new because there is a hook for the Darksaber hilt on it, and I'm not sure that there are peg holes in the strap or in his back for the rifle. So ultimately, yes, Hasbro did fix the issues from their previous releases, but you have to take into consideration what it took for us to get to this point. Hasbro released 100 versions of Mando on that older body with those issues that I just talked about. And after few years, after all that, only now are they giving us the more accurate and more proportionate looking Mando. So it's hard for me to give them a point for that after they were releasing and repacking the inaccurate favorite figure for years, Articulation. As I said at the beginning of this video, I own previous releases from all these companies, and so I'm familiar with their articulation. I assume that a lot of you guys have the same experience, and so you know what to expect from these figures. So based on previous experiences, all of these figures will have great articulation, a standard one for their line. We will know for sure when we get them in hand, but if I had to choose which one has the best range, it would be a tough decision between SHF and Mafex. Usually I would say SHF, but those ankle joints bother me, so we'll have to see if they fixed it. Based on these promo shots, Black Series Mando will have butterfly joints, and two-handed gripping of the Darksaber won't be an issue. Ultimately, SHF and Mafex will give you a lot more articulation points and a better range, but that's to be expected for the price. Accessories. When we talk about accessories, it is well known by now that Black Series figures tend to come almost without any. Recently released Morgan Elsbeth figure is a perfect example of that. But Hasbro's new Mando does come with few accessories, and these are his pistol blaster, a knife, the Darksaber, and the jetpack. So no rifle or Beskar spear, because this is Mando as we see him in the Book of Boba Fett series. Jetpack blast effects are not included in this release because, by recent Hasbro logic, those two small plastic pieces would turn this into a deluxe set. I'm sure that down the line Hasbro will re-release the figure in a deluxe set, maybe with those blast effects and Grogu. But for now, these accessories that we have here are the essential ones for this version of Mando. Darksaber is the same one that previously came with Moff Gideon. Pistol is the same one that we got before. Jetpack is also the same as before, but with what it looks like to be a new metallic silver paint. The knife is a new accessory if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember if any previous Mando figures came with that. But if I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. And that's all that this new Black Series Mando comes with. SH Figure Arts Mando comes with much more, and that's to be expected. He comes with alternate hands, the jetpack and blast effects for it, the Darksaber that looks really good, the rifle and the strap part for it, the pistol blaster, and a small water bottle for living water sample. Grogu is included in this set, and you also get an alternative Grogu torso for standing and sitting poses, alternative Grogu head, and the pram with a clear stand for it. This time there is no unhelmeted Din Djarin head, but this is because this is the Season 3 version. All in all, a nice range of accessories, as it should be for the price. Mafex 2.0 Mando comes with a lot of stuff. This is the most accessory-packed release out of these three. As always, Mafex gives you their clear movable posing stand, and I love those. I use them in all my posing videos. He comes with three types of head parts: the standard helmet, the helmet with a small flashlight on the side, and an unmasked Din Djarin head that looks pretty good on this promo shot. We'll see how it will turn out when the figure gets released. He comes with a bag and two types of Grogu. One that is in the bag and the other one that has fully sculpted body and articulated head and arms. This Mando also comes with his jetpack and blast effects for it. And then for his weapons, he comes with almost everything. His pistol blaster that conveniently is not shown on this image, so we can't say for sure if they fixed the pink paint job issue. He comes with his rifle and the electric effect for it, and then Beskar Spear, Darksaber, and finally Whistling Bird and Flamethrower effects, and also you get the fiber cord whip with a grappling hook, and it's a wire that can be manipulated for posing. So as you can see, in the accessory department, Mafex Mando 2.0 is the one that comes with more stuff than the other two releases. Of course, it all depends on what types of accessories you want. Each of these comes with something that the other two don't have. Black Series comes with a knife, SHF comes with the pram and a small water bottle, while Mafex comes with all the weapons minus the knife, and the effects for those weapons are included. He also comes with a bag and three different head types that include the unhelmeted Din Djarin head. Ultimately, based just on the amount of stuff and the posing options that they give you, I would say that Mafex takes the win here. Final verdict. Taking everything into consideration, each of these figures has its pluses and minuses. The Black Series one has less articulation points and comes with only few accessories, but it's the cheapest one out of the three. Hasbro retooled the body and fixed most of the previous issues so that now the articulation is improved and proportions look much better. On the other hand, Black Series releases can be frustrating at times because it's practically impossible to get what one would consider the ultimate 6-inch Mando figure without buying a lot of the previous releases. That's just the way that Hasbro plays this game. It can also be frustrating to get all of these Mandos with his jetpack but without blasting effects for flying poses. True, it's a $25 or €30 figure, but when you take into consideration that inclusion of just half of these accessories that the other two releases come with would boost up the price to $40 or even $50 or euros, you are getting close to those SHF and Mafex prices. Add into the mix the fact that SHF and Mafex are more high-end action figures with better proportions, sharper and more detailed sculpting and superior articulation, and it becomes clear why these figures cost more. We can talk about the import charges for SHF and Mafex figures, but you have to also be aware that for the rest of the world outside of the US, Black Series figures are imports as well. The new SH Figuarts Mandalorian looks like the same release as the previous one. That opinion is based on promo shots, so if they change something on the body, we will know that once when it's released. The issues with the helmet proportions and the range of ankle joints could still be present on this new release. SHF is also the most expensive one out of the three. It's a shame that this version doesn't come with an unhelmeted head, but it's understandable because they do advertise it as a Season 3 Mando. As we've seen, the new Mafex Mandalorian does have more vibrant colors, but the proportions and the sculpt look really good. At first, I thought that this will be the same figure that they released before, but as the listing on AmiAmi's store says, this will be a retooled body. We will still have to see if they fixed some of the previous issues. Promo shots show that the new gun is not pink, so that's good. It remains to be seen if they fixed the rifle connection to the back of the figure. I would say that Mafex does such a great job with their proportions. For me, their Mando looks the best. It really looks like a person in a suit and armor. SHF has a lot of cuts because of the articulation, but I would say that Mafex articulation is almost equally great. I would like for both of them to maybe have a bit more crunch in the torso because it could be better. Black Series figure looks like a toy in comparison to these two, and as I said, that's to be expected because of the price. Mafex also comes with the best range of accessories out of all of them. It costs $5 less than the SHF one and comes with more stuff. You also get a flight stand. So overall, it's my opinion that the best Mandalorian figure out of these three is the Mafex one. It is the closest to being the definitive 6-inch Mando action figure in your collection. Its price is $65 US plus shipping and import charges, but you get a great looking figure and a ton of accessories that give you a lot of displaying options. As I said, this is just my opinion and I would love to hear yours down in the comment section. Let me know if I missed something, if you have a different perspective on this subject. At the end, I also want to say that I'm not bashing on any of these releases. I hope I was fair with all the things that I pointed out in this video. I truly enjoy all of these Star Wars figures from all these companies, and those who follow me long enough know that. It's great to have options so that we can pick the best one for each of us. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you all for watching, share your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see ya in the next video.